It's now under 2 weeks to the NFL draft, and every idiot with the ability to record themselves is publishing their own mock draft. Since I meet that criteria, it's time to massively overreact to pro days. It's time to talk about prospects I never watched a single game of in college. And it's time to talk about rosters that I've done absolutely no research on. But how do I separate myself from all the others? In order to make sure I had the most accurate mock draft possible, I needed to introduce the anarchy and chaos of draft day into my mock. So, I flipped a coin for every draft pick to see if they would be involved in a draft day trade. Even teams who don't hold a first round pick received a coin flip to see if they would trade up. I remained completely and totally unbiased and didn't let my desire influence the outcome at all. Totally up to destiny. Now that I've successfully padded the runtime with an extra minute of garbage, let's get mocking. The Bears are on the clock. Bears fans can rest safely knowing that there's no chance we give up 2/3 and a 1/4 in order to move up and select J.J. McCarthy. In fact, all signs are pointing to the Bears taking the consensus #1 quarterback in the draft. Surely, nothing will go wrong and the Bears will develop another historically great quarterback. The Commanders are on the clock. After a year of evaluating the football operation, the Commanders are desperate to raise the price of tickets above the cost of beer in other stadiums, in order to afford railings that this time will hit Jalen Hurts on the way down. The Commanders take Jaden Daniels. The New England Patriots roster is so devoid of talent, it could make TikToks. With needs at every offensive position, the Patriots choose to move back in the draft, accumulating multiple picks. The Vikings move up. Although some experts think the Vikings may have already figured out who's going to call their plays in the next season, it looks like they might not be totally satisfied with the best thrower in 49ers history for the long haul. The Vikings select Drake May. The Cardinals are on the clock, and they take Marvin Harrison Jr. Okay, next pick. Wait, you want more than that? Why? No one wants to talk about the Cardinals. Okay, fine. The Cardinals lost.
Shots. Explosives. You can run.
And so now they hope to add a new weapon who can run, I guess. After this offseason, it's pretty clear that talent at the wide receiver position is not important for the Los Angeles Chargers. They move back, acquire additional draft capital, and hopefully a therapist for Justin Herbert. The Broncos are on the clock. Sean Payton looks to prevent Russell Wilson's enormous dead cap from hampering the Broncos' success. Fortunately, Sean Payton has bountiful resources to pull from in Denver. Payton looks to continue the Broncos' elite tradition of drafted quarterbacks with J.J. McCarthy. After a historic performance, the Giants are accepting that it's gonna take a lot to keep Daniel Jones from dying of blunt force trauma. They move back in hopes of maybe getting an entire offensive line in this year's draft. The Jets are on the clock. While some experts are questioning the Jets' decision to assemble the hospital heroes on the world's most dangerous turf, the Jets understand the importance of giving Aaron Rodgers enough time to throw the perfect over-the-shoulder, back-of-the-end-zone passes for Allen Lazard to drop. And the Jets are not afraid to trade up to get what they want. The Jets move up and select offensive tackle Joe Alt. The Titans are on the clock. This pick here was incredibly tricky because it's impossible to know what the Titans are thinking ever. But with the interpreter trick recently being discovered, the Titans no longer have to worry about losing Calvin Ridley for the season, which means they can prioritize offensive line. The Titans select Olu Fashanu. While the only quarterback most Falcons want is the 4th one of Super Bowl 51, the arrival of Kirk Cousins hopefully means they'll start to target their super talented skill position players. The Colts are on the clock. Outside of Anthony Richardson learning how to slide, and the Colts' whole team learning how to win in Jacksonville, the only thing Chris Ballard cares about is RAS. The Colts move up and take an RAS menace in Malik Neighbors. The Bears are on the clock. Even after increasing our 2022 sack total by 50%, we were still 31st in the league, so a lot of experts expect us to take an edge rusher. However, currently, Soldier Field is the only place in Chicago you are unlikely to see a shootout, so I say we really lean into giving Caleb Williams everything we possibly can. The Bears take a wide receiver Caleb Williams is a big fan of in Rome Odunze. The Giants are on the clock. With the big three wide receivers gone, it appears the Giants aren't so much focused on actually giving Daniel Jones targets to throw to, as much as getting offensive linemen who don't alienate their entire fan base. The Giants select J.C. Latham. The Patriots are on the clock. Although we're at pick 11 and no defenders have been taken off the board, I don't think defense was the problem for the Patriots last year. The Patriots grab their Trent Brown replacement in Amarius Mims. Now's a good time to like and subscribe. Do it. The Chargers are on the clock. Unless the Chargers want to risk Justin Herbert's health in the hands of their own team doctors, they might need some blocking. However, if you don't pick up any receiving, Justin Herbert might just puncture his lung himself. Brock Bowers gives you both. And the best part about it is there's no fans to be upset about this pick. The Raiders are aware that whoever they take in the first round is more than likely gone in 2 years. Plus, the only player who really fit the Raider culture is already gone. So they move back and accumulate extra picks. The Rams are on the clock. After being eliminated by their most recent first-round pick and losing Aaron Donald, the Los Angeles Rams managed to sign quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, which means Stetson Bennett will likely be the backup by week 2 when Jimmy Garoppolo hurts himself stretching. But the Rams can worry about offense in the 5th round. Right now, they need to worry about filling the Aaron Donald-sized hole in their defense. The Rams select Dallas Turner. The Saints are on the clock. The Saints are forced to take a bet even Jonte Porter wouldn't touch, and they have to pray that Derek Carr can complete passes if they improve the offensive line. Saints fans may be in for another season where they would rather watch the 2018 NFC Championship than their current offense. The Saints select Troy Fautanu. The Falcons are on the clock. The Falcons' offense was disgusting enough that I can't rule out them taking Jonathan Brooks here, but I think with the upgrade at quarterback from Cordero Patterson, the Falcons are actually going to go defense this year and take Jared Verse. The Seahawks are on the clock. The Seattle Seahawks performed one of the greatest fleece jobs in the history of the NFL, and yet they still are only mid. It may be because their offensive line is one of the worst in the league, and they couldn't run the ball from the 1-yard line even if they wanted to, which they don't. The Seattle Seahawks select Graham Barton. Doug Peterson has to love knowing he can do basically anything, and it will never be as bad as what Urban Meyer did when he played Tim Tebow at tight end. I mean, that's the quarterback who threw for 316 yards and 2 touchdowns in a playoff win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Eagles are on the clock. Promoting Matt Patricia should have been a sign of things to come for Eagles fans last year. Their incredible collapse was capped off with a beatdown by the Buccaneers, who could have not scored a single point after the first quarter and still won. The Eagles select Kenyon Mitchell. The Bengals are on the clock. It's hard to make fun of the Bengals because no one cares about Cincinnati. Kinda like the Bengals don't care about their players. Or their families. Bengals select Talisa Fuaga. The Raiders are on the clock. The Raiders accomplish something spectacular every year, like losing to Jeff Saturday straight off the couch, or somehow going from scoring 0 points to 63 points in the span of 4 days, or thinking it was a good idea to sign Jimmy Garoppolo to this contract. The Raiders select Terrion Arnold. The Steelers are on the clock. While the Steelers are certainly hoping for Arthur Smith's offense from Tennessee, they would actually be improved by the offense that got him fired in Atlanta. The Steelers are a bit of a wild card here because they had actually seen Kenny Pickett play and still drafted him. They also saw the Broncos desperately cut Russell Wilson, giving up almost 20% of their salary cap, and thought, yeah, we gotta have him. Don't worry, Justin, this is gonna be your team soon. Steelers select Jackson Powers Johnson. The Miami Dolphins traded Trey Lance for Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and Bradley Chubb, and still haven't won a playoff game since 2000. The Lions are on the clock. Some people aren't confident that the Lions would trade up here, but I know that Dan Campbell loves to go for it. The Lions select Cooper DeJean. Yep, that's all you get for the Lions. I mean, they've bullied themselves for the last 40 years, so no need for us to do it. The Jaguars are on the clock. But nobody cares about the Jaguars, so they take Nate Wiggins and we move on. For limited time only, you can like and subscribe to this video for free! Whoa! The Patriots are on the clock. After experiencing a single year in the life of a Browns fan, Patriots fans are falling apart. What a bunch of spoiled babies. The Patriots select Brian Thomas Jr. The Cowboys are on the clock. After going all in this offseason, the Cowboys have finally agreed to terms with their long snapper. They can now turn their attention to more important things, like building an offense around the visionary, who started Zeke at center for a playoff game. How does Mike McCarthy still have a job here? If you hate the Cowboys, then you love the Cowboys, because nobody screws the Cowboys over more than the Cowboys. The Cowboys take Tyler Guyton. We've reached the point of the draft where most people have said, I'll just check the results tomorrow on my phone, and gone to bed. Packers stink. The Ravens are on the clock. Casuals question why the Ravens didn't run the ball in the second half against the Kansas City Chiefs, but real intellectuals understand that if they had, they might have won the game, and then they wouldn't have had such good draft position. It's all the long game. The Magic might be an NBA team, but the way Lamar Jackson disappears in the playoffs is something to behold. The Ravens select Leatu Latu. The Buccaneers are on the clock. The Buccaneers have no sales tax, beautiful weather, and actually have fans unlike the Jaguars, and yet still couldn't put together a competent team until Tom Brady showed up. The Buccaneers select Chop Robinson. The Cardinals are on the clock. That's right, the Cardinals are back at the plate again, something that would be very expensive to do if you were in their cafeteria, and it wouldn't even be good food. The Cardinals select Johnny Newton. The Bills are on the clock. The Bills don't seem to want to punt on this season, so they're gonna need to take a wide receiver. Hopefully this time one that doesn't cryptically tweet in a way that they have to deal with rumors about him leaving every offseason. The Bills take Adonai Mitchell. The Dolphins are on the clock. The Dolphins may want to consider a name change to the Miami Deer, because when the lights were brightest, they froze. Also, oh dear, that was not fun to watch. The Dolphins select Byron Murphy. The Packers are on the clock. After a season where the Packers outperformed projections and managed to win a playoff game, the Packers are entering a crucial offseason to determine the future of this team, which is why they are taking a backup quarterback. Yep, a backup quarterback. Plus, with how crappy their city is, they are going to need a good plumber. The Packers select Jack Plummer, quarterback out of Louisville. Good move. Good move. The 49ers are on the clock. The Packers' dad is coming off a disappointing loss in the Super Bowl. Again, at least they didn't have a double-digit lead in both games. Oh wait. Oh well, there's always next year, barring, of course, a dozen quarterback injuries. 49ers select Jordan Morgan. Sorry, Chiefs fans, no picks in this mock for you. You have enough. Don't be greedy. Look on the bright side. Your former team is trading up to take this. The Patriots select Michael Penix Jr. Wow, that took a long time. Probably because I deleted my entire draft once. Comment the pick that you want to happen the most, and the pick that you think is the worst one here.